They're literally trying to push the door open. The fact that the shower head is so tall that me standing at 5 foot on my tippy toes and my arms stretched out cannot change the setting on the shower head is absolutely ridiculous. This is where I do blame Lowe's Resort. You have to treat everyone the same. My water pressure is trying to blast me into the next universe. From leaky faucets to a forklift driving through the lobby and housekeeping trying to force their way into my room, Stella Nova might not be the place you want to stay on your epic universe vacation. I have never felt so unsafe at a resort ever. Hey everybody, if you are new here, make sure you like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all things theme park, cruise, and travel. And if you're a returning viewer, make sure you click that notification bell so you never miss a video. Now, I was supposed to be editing and uploading part 2 of my stay at Epic Universe's Stella Nova Resort, but I just couldn't bring myself to do that. Now, I do want to preface this video by saying this is my own experience, this is my own opinion. Please do your own research and form your own opinions. Epic Universe is going to be opening May 22nd of 2025, which is just a few months away. And I was so excited to stay at their Lowe's resort, the Stella Nova. Now, it's very important to remember that the Stella Nova is a part of the Lowe's hotel group. It is not a Universal hotel. So by no means am I trying to say anything bad about Universal or the new theme park, and I'm not even trying to throw shade at Lowe's or the Stella Nova Resort. I'm just simply giving you my experience. I think it's only fair that I start at the beginning. The Stella Nova grand opened on Tuesday, January 21st of 2025, and overall they did an amazing job welcoming all of their first-time guests. From interstellar custom drinks to branded meet and greets, they did a wonderful job of making us feel welcome. We literally walked into the cheers and applause of not only hotel staff, but Lowe's and Universal executives. They really did a great job of making us feel out of this world. To be expected, there was a very long line to check in. It took us about 45 minutes from the time we got into the line until we actually got up to the desk. Now, this is where I started to get some red flags. We were greeted with a very friendly employee who, like everyone else, was excited to be there on that day. Something happened that I've never had happen to me before at a Disney or Universal / Lowe's resort ever. Now, normally when you check into a resort or a hotel, you expect there to be a fee for parking, but what you don't expect is there to be a $100 incidentals fee. Normally, you put a credit card on file and they don't charge it, they just keep it on file. Well, during this day, not only did they put the credit card on file or debit card or whatever, they charged $100. And I have to say, I was a little uneasy about that charge. To add insult to injury, there was so much confusion about how much parking was going to be. Initially, it was $18 and then I think $24 or $25. But of course, when everybody got to the resort, it turned out to be $30 for overnight parking and $65 for single day parking, just if you wanted to come and check out the resort. Now, if those two fees weren't shocking enough, I just now realized that I paid more in incidentals and parking than I actually paid for the whole resort stay itself. On grand open night, we paid $113 plus tax for a standard 2-queen poolside room. So altogether with fees and taxes, we paid around $250 for something that I thought was only going to cost me $113. One of the first things we did was went up to our room to check it out, because that is one of the things I was looking forward to the most, was seeing the room. I was super excited to see the galaxy mural that every room had. And I wasn't disappointed at all. This is going to be a standard 2-queen room overlooking the pool. As you can see, the room is pretty big, it's spacious. We may or may not have already laid on the bed to try it out. The view of the pool is so pretty. You can see the pool bar, the big pool, the jacuzzi. That is an actual photo from NASA. The bathroom is very clean and simplistic, comes with everything you need from towels to Stella Nova branded shampoo, conditioner, and soap. Here is just an overview of the shower so you can see how big it is. We got up to our room. We had an amazing view of the pool, and the room was very spacious, very colorful, very clean. There was plenty of storage for luggage. The bathroom was a good size, especially for a standard hotel or resort, and it even came with a sliding glass door, but there were some issues.
Here is the thing that I think most people will have an issue with this hotel, and it is these motion sensor lights. So last night I had to get up 2 or 3 times. I was checking my email on the bed and the TV was on, and the lights would just turn off because of the motion sensors. So I'd have to get up and kind of move around a little bit, and they would turn back on. And I can't figure out the bathroom light. So it turned off on me while I was in the shower, and then right now it's not on. But if I come in here, it doesn't turn on. So I'm gonna try, like there's a button that you can push that turns it on, but in the middle of the night, it turned on me. I walked in here and it turned on, so I quick turned it off. And then I went back to sleep, woke up again, had to go to the bathroom, came in and it turned on. So I don't know what the point of the button is. I thought the button was to like turn off the motion sensor and the light itself, but it's still turned on in the middle of the night. So imagine you wake up in the middle of the night, you have to go to the bathroom, you're just kind of walking in there and you're like, oh man, everything's dark. And then you walk in and this bright light turns on in the bathroom in the middle of the night. It's gonna hurt your eyes and things like that. So I don't think they should have a motion sensor in the bathroom. I get the motion sensors kind of out here, and there is one out here, but I can't figure out where it's at. It's just like on a timer, I guess. But these out here definitely turn off. I get the motion sensors. I understand them. They're nice. Like it's a good idea for energy saving when you're not in the room. The lights turn off. But I don't think it needs to be in the bathroom. Take it out of the bathroom one, because it turned off while I was in the shower and then it turns on bright in the middle of the night.
Some content creators have recently come out and say that the water pressure was terrible. And although I did experience that later on in my stay, I have to say that when I first turned on the water, not only was the water pressure full blast, maybe that's why everybody else's was so low, but my shower head setting was set on that setting where the water like shoots out at you like a rocket, and it almost took me out. Now I'm about 5'3" and I stood on my tippy toes. I stretched my little arm out as far as I could, and I was not able to change the settings on the shower. Thankfully, my husband was there and he was able to come and save me from being blasted into outer space. Now, of course, a little bit later, I did start to experience the low water pressure, just like everybody else is complaining about, but I'm not really mad about that because that's kind of to be expected with new hotels, I think, maybe, possibly, I don't know. The other issue with the shower is when you go to close the door, my husband literally smashed his fingers in between the stationary door and the actual door that slides. Maybe that's when I should have realized that this day wasn't going to be as out of this world as I was hoping it would be. Now let's talk about food. I have to say I was super indecisive. I didn't really know what I wanted to order. So I ended up ordering a margarita pizza. My husband got the Stella burger, which is the resort's branded burger. And I have to say overall the food wasn't that bad. I had to take a quick break because I'm starving, so we stopped by the cafe here at Stella Nova and I got the margarita pizza and my husband got the Stella burger. Cannot wait to eat this. I am so hungry. Here's a look at the margarita pizza. So it's basically margarita, cheese, tomatoes, and basil. I know it's pretty basic, but they didn't have a pepperoni pizza, which I would have loved to have, but I'm kind of excited to eat this. It's a huge pizza. And then got the Stella burger with bacon added. So it's basically a bacon cheeseburger with onions, tomatoes, and french fries. I'm so hungry, so I cannot wait to eat all of this. Other content creators have come out and showed pictures or videos of what looks to be like raw bacon, and some have even said that their shrimp was frozen. Now, I have to be honest, I'm not a big shrimp person, so I don't know like the safety issues with eating frozen or not properly cooked shrimp, but I have to imagine that it's probably not very good.
The shrimp still have tails on them, so you gotta kind of eat that separate. You can't really mix it together. How's the shrimp?
Frozen a few minutes ago.
Shrimp cocktail, one of the worst things I've had at Universal in a while. The shrimp was like frozen and halfway thawed out. It was sad. The sauce and stuff on the inside was not very good. It was like a cucumber kind of sewage sauce. 3 out of 10. Do not waste your time or money on that thing.
I mean, I wouldn't want to eat raw meat, but sushi's raw. Is shrimp and sushi the same? I don't know. On our stay, it was cold, wet, and rainy, unusually so for Orlando, Florida. So maybe we really were getting sucked into a black hole, which is kind of the theme of the resort. But something I really loved was the zero entry pool. The pool itself is around 1,800 square feet, so it is a massive pool. And as cold as it was, I couldn't wait to put my little toes in the water just to say I was one of the first people to be in the pool. Because technically I was. I really loved the hot tub. It had this beautiful oval shape, so it would fit a bunch of people. The pool bar, the gym, the rec center, all those seemed to be perfectly okay. I had no issues with them. And I have to be honest, I didn't really spend a lot of time in those locations. But where I did spend a lot of time was the arcade. And it took me about 15 minutes to buy one of those play cards. It was a disaster. Got the lowest level card. I think it ended up costing around $20. And my daughter was only able to play about 3 games. And if you have kids that love games, you know there's nothing out of this world about that. Now, there were some people that had issues with the rain hitting the tiles on the side of the building.
So, as you know, there's all these like kind of tiles on the side of the building. So when it rains, I don't know if you can hear that, it just kind of sounds like someone just kind of like tapping like this.
I have to say, honestly, I didn't have any problems with that. I didn't hear that. So I don't know if that's going to be a problem for everyone or people that are just light sleepers, or maybe it just depends on where you're going to be in the resort. But I personally can't say that I had any issues because I didn't. But this next part of the story is where things get a little bit uneasy for me and made me very, very uncomfortable. So again, I'm going to give a disclaimer because I don't want anyone coming for me to say that I'm trying to make this resort look bad on their grand opening night. And of course, bugs are going to get worked out. Kinks need to be fixed. I understand all of that. What I also understand is that my safety or my perception of safety should never be put into question. It all started on checkout morning around 9 a.m. Now, my husband had to take my son to a doctor's appointment. I needed to film more content, so I stayed behind. Normally, when it comes to resorts or theme parks, he goes with me just because it's a comfort thing and I like it better when he's there. The night before, we had asked for late checkout, so instead of checking out at 11, we were going to check out at 12 noon. I also want to mention the fact that we did have a do not disturb sign on our door so that housekeeping would know that we were in the room and that we didn't want to be bothered. Now, this was super important for me in order to make me feel safe, so that I was comfortable with doing the things that I needed to do, because essentially I wasn't staying there for leisure, I was staying there for work, because I wanted to review the resort for everyone at home so they could make an informed decision on whether this would be a good fit for them. So now that I've said all of that, around 9 to 9:30 in the morning, housekeeping starts trying to come in my room. And they're not only trying to come in the room or knocking on the door and saying, "Housekeeping," they're literally trying to push the door open. Now, thankfully, I had the door stopper engaged, so there was no way for them to get into the room, but it didn't stop them from trying, not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but literally about 10 to 20 times from the 9 a.m. hour until the 10 a.m. hour. Now, a lot of you are going to ask if I opened the door, and I said, you know what? We're not ready to leave yet. We have late checkout, blah, blah, blah. But to be fair, I shouldn't have to. The resort knew that we had late checkout. It is their job to communicate that information to housekeeping, not mine. And not only that, but I was in the middle of getting ready for the day, which means I'm fighting with that shower between it trying to blast me out of the shower to having barely any pressure at all, changing my clothes and getting ready by myself in a resort. So this continues to happen for about 25 more minutes, and that's when I had had enough. I called down to the front desk and let them know that this was happening, and it was starting to really give me anxiety, make me feel a little uncomfortable, and even scared at some points. I mean, it's one thing to knock on the door and say housekeeping, but it's another thing to try to forcibly push yourself into a room multiple times. I have to say that the front desk was amazing. They were super nice, super apologetic, and they assured me that they would get word to housekeeping that we in fact had late checkout and to not bother the room again. So for about 10 minutes, everything was great. I could breathe again. I could get my work done. But it seemed like maybe housekeeping had a 10-minute timer and that was enough. And at that point, they tried to force their way into my room again, multiple times. At this point, I'm feeling so uncomfortable and so uneasy. I pack up the last little bit of my stuff. I take down all of our luggage, all of our bags, all of our filming equipment, all of our rain jackets, our winter jackets, our umbrellas, everything that we had brought with us for 4 people. So of course, between all of that luggage, all of those extra bags, all of that camera equipment, it was very hard for me to take all of that downstairs by myself. But at that point, I felt so uncomfortable because someone in housekeeping was trying to force their way into my room. And to be honest, and I don't feel like I should have had to be in that position anymore, so I just had to get out of it. Something I like to do in all of these videos is think about things on a different level, on a little bit of a deeper level. So I want to say that I completely understand that the first night, the opening night, there are going to be kinks that have to be worked out, but making your guests feel unsafe and put in a potentially dangerous situation is a little bit ridiculous. I do want to say that I think overall the staff is amazing, except for the housekeeping people that were trying to push their way into my door. Here are all the things that you really need to think about before you book your stay. So let's start on trying to actually get to the Stella Nova. We did have problems getting to the resort itself. And if you use Apple Maps, it's actually going to take you to an apartment complex across the street from the Stella Nova, and there is no way to get to the resort from that apartment complex.
When you put it into Apple Maps, I put in Stella Nova Resort. This happened to a ton of other people. It takes you to an apartment complex.
Okay, how do I get over there?
Right next door, and there's no way to get into the hotel. I had to drive, through the giant construction sites. I'm going on the wrong side of the road, thinking there's a way around there.
Okay, so they were saying don't go that way. That's the way that I went. That's closed apparently. So they say wait for the next Universal sign and turn left. But how, dude, this is so fucking confusing.
So one side of the resort is actually still closed off for construction. So you have to go all the way down to Destination Boulevard, which is on the opposite side, so that you can get into the Stella Nova Resort. The problem with that is there is absolutely zero signage to help you get to the resort. So you're literally driving around in circles until you finally just figure it out for yourself or ask someone for help. Now, Universal did a great job with their special meet and greets, the special branded drinks, the welcoming everyone to the resort, which had Lowe's employees as well as Universal employees. Parking was super confusing, from $18 to $21 to $28 to actually $30 when you got in there. And I did hear reports that if someone said, hey, online right here, it says that parking was going to be this much, that the staff did actually adjust the price. But for those poor unfortunate souls like myself who wasn't really paying attention because I was already in sticker shock from the incidentals fee that was $100, I didn't even think about the $30 parking. I was like, wow, at least that wasn't $100. And I just gave them my money, and they didn't offer to tell me that there was a pricing issue which for me is an integrity issue. If you're doing it for one person because you made the mistake, you should be doing it for everyone. That takes me into my next point. We put on our reservation that we were there for a special occasion. I believe you could check like birthday or anniversary, things like that. And not that I was asking for it, don't care, not a big deal, but something you should know is that we didn't get any kind of a special treat or anything like that. But yet I'm watching videos of other more popular vloggers that were there, said they were celebrating a special occasion, actually the same special occasion that I was there celebrating, and they received fanfare and special treats left up in their rooms with special personalized notes and free desserts, and just made them feel super special.
Check this out. What a surprise.
How cute. They gave us like a little cosmic cupcake. The cookie kind of fell in. That'll be really nice to enjoy tonight.
Little late night treat. Thank you, Stella Nova.
And I do blame Lowe's Resort for that. It doesn't matter how many followers you have, how many views you have, if you're a new content creator or an established content creator that's on your media list. What you should be doing is treating every single guest the same. As a small creator, I want to feel just as special as other creators who have tens of thousands of followers. My few thousand followers are just as important to your resort as those followers. And remember, some of those people have been in the industry for 10 or 15 years, and it took them a very long time to get that following. And this is where I do blame Lowe's Resort. You have to treat everyone the same. It doesn't matter if you're a small channel or a large channel. If you are going to celebrate someone or help them celebrate a special occasion, you should do it for everyone, not just for those that are there with a big following or have an influencer status. Now, when you go in the room, it's beautiful, it's spacious, especially for a standard resort, but some things they really got to work on is the fact that some people are having low water pressure, then my water pressure is trying to blast me into the next universe 1 minute, and the next minute I barely have any water at all. The fact that the shower head is so tall that me standing at 5 foot on my tippy toes and my arms stretched out cannot change the setting on the shower head is absolutely ridiculous, and y'all really need to do something about that. The other aspect of the bathroom is the shower door. I mean, if you push that thing too hard, you could potentially break a finger. At the very least, bruise it all up, and then you can't write your great reviews on your website. But a major issue for some people was the tapping sound on the outside of the resort. Now, if you've seen the resort, they have these beautiful 3D effects tiles. They're beautiful, jewel toned. At first, I didn't know if I was going to like it when it was being built, but I have to say it is absolutely stunning and beautiful, but it is causing a lot of issues. The tapping is preventing people from going to sleep, waking people up in the middle of the night. And on the Stella Nova, there are 144,000 of these tiles. So it's not like they can just change them out. Something else I was made aware of was the fact that for 750 rooms that the Stella Nova houses, there is one maintenance person. Do I even really need to say anything about that? Not only that, but there is a motion sensor light in the bathroom. Creators have actually had the lights go out on them while they were in the middle of taking a shower. Now, this is a big deal because if an elderly person or a little kid who is afraid of the dark, if they're in that shower and that light goes out, then they could potentially slip, trip, fall, just be super scared. Anything could happen. That is a major safety issue, and I hope that you address this before Epic Universe opens. When it comes to the food, from undercooked shrimp to overcooked french fries, this is something that is kind of, maybe sort of to be expected. Well, not really, because that's food safety too. I think if Lowe's or Universal or whatever, Lowe's, because it's a Lowe's hotel, so Universal probably didn't have a say in it. But anyway, if they had done team member like previews or something like that, let your team members, at least the team members that work at the resort, if they had let them stay there, bring like a friend or family member, like a +1 to stay in the resort, they could have worked out all of these bugs and kinks. I mean, there were reports that a pipe had busted over a week before grand open and they hadn't even looked at it yet, which meant that some people had black spots coming out of their shower and sink faucets.
This one, probably the most egregious right here. Many guests are having problems with the showers. Mine had sand coming out of it. I also have no hot water in my shower. Sounds like it's 50-50 if you have hot water in your room. Some guests were told it's a water pressure issue or that the plumbers didn't install the showers correctly. There clearly was not a proper test save before paying guests came to the hotel.
The other aspect of this is people didn't know what button to press for this and that, and you could tell that the training wasn't as extensive as it probably could have been. And I've recently been made aware of the fact that the hotel staff wasn't even trained at the facility. They were sent to other hotels to train, and in some cases, grand opening day was the first day they ever stepped foot on property. Now, this is a major issue. I come from the retail talent development world. I used to teach, train, and develop high-level managers and even entry-level managers. And if you don't put staff in real-life situations within their working facility, some people who learn kinetically are not going to be successful. Not everybody learns audibly. Not everybody learns visually. Some people have to see, feel, and touch what they're working with in order to become efficient. And I hope this is something that they really consider moving forward when they are teaching and training their executives, managers, and hourly team members. That's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And if you want to stay up to date on all things theme park, cruise, travel, Ashley Trevino, and all kind of internet drama, make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss a video. Until next time,